Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad. It is Tuesday, and it's a beautiful morning. Bit cold, but really, really nice. Got my gloves on. Out with my boy. He's there. All good, all good. Listen, I don't know if you've seen. Fix my hat. Look like Noddy. That's what I do. I don't know if you've seen the guy with the Kalashnikov tattooed under his eye. If you haven't, what happened there? You got jumpy in it. I've noticed like people are like, not many people, but a couple of people say, "Oh, it's edited. He's editing," and it's not like he's saying it's all on the. He's speaking from his head, and there's no notes and all that. But I'm not editing. I don't know. It just seems to jump. I think it's just you need to get a new camera. You know, that's all it is. You know, it's just it's a cheapy wee Motorola. What did I pay for it? I think I pay no more than £15 a month, and that's everything I need, like data, texts and calls. Not the only thing I use loads of is the data, obviously, but I never use the calls and I never really use the text messages. Everybody uses WhatsApp and all that, you know. But yeah, he's got a Kalashnikov tattooed under his eye, and I keep getting ringing in my ears. The last few days, I can remember my mum saying it was the devil. You know, she had this thing about the devil, my mum, and she told me not to look in the mirror at night time. You see the devil and all that, you know. But probably to do with stopping smoking. I've had to put a patch on. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Yeah, I had to put a patch on just to give me a wee bit of help. Obviously struggled yesterday a bit, but I'm pleased to say that I haven't had a smoke of anything illegal or anything like that, you know. It's cannabis. We're talking about cannabis, you know what I mean? That's like, must be coming up to into my second week now, you know what I mean? Still having crazy dreams, you know. And but I don't think I'm not gonna say anything like, you know, I'm not gonna tempt fate, but I'm pretty confident, you know. I'm pretty confident. Like I say, I'm doing this for my daughter, you know what I mean? I do not want my daughter, I do not want to be under any influences with my daughter coming into the world. Simple as that. I promised myself that, you know, so if there's one thing I need to be able to do is keep the word to myself, you know. I think that's important. But yeah, this guy with a Kalashnikov under his eye and tattoos. Now, if you haven't seen it, have a look. Google Nigel Farage gets threatened by illegal immigrant. Now, he's been trying to come over to the country. He's a TikToker. He does TikToks. Now, I've seen his TikToks. I've seen a TikTok where he's got 3 underage girls sitting on his lap in France. They're all hanging. Now, the reason why they're all covered up, you can tell they're really, really young. You can tell. You're really tiny little girls, you know. Probably about 15, 14. And they're all covered up. Their faces are all covered up. Horrible. It gives you a creep. So it does. The hair stand on the back of your neck looking at it, you know. Especially if you've been through stuff I've been through, you know. These kind of things do affect you when you see it. And he's been trying to get over. And I've seen, I think, about 3 videos now where he's got guns. Where he's had a gun. And he keeps on going again, pop, 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 like pulling the trigger and pushing it, the thingy. And Nigel Farage highlighted it, so he did. Highlighted this character. Come on, son. And we'll go this way. Come on, we'll go this way, son. And the guys replied, crazy. But this is, you know, I'm not surprised, you know. So he's replied to Nigel Farage, threatening Nigel Farage. Now, this is an illegal immigrant that's on his way to our country. And when he comes here, he'll be staying here. And when he comes here, he's going to play the I'm not right in the head card. Look at my TikToks. That tells you everything sort of thing, you know what I mean? And he's going to get all the benefits, you know. And I'm used to it now, you know. I'm used to all this. But I think because Nigel Farage shared this, a lot of people that aren't really understanding what's going on will be going, what? You know? So I want to break it down, you know what I mean? So basically, this is it, you know? Guys, this is exactly... And there's no there's no hidden agendas here. I'm only telling you the facts and the truth. I want refugees to come to this country. You know, really, I don't, to be honest with you, because we're full. We can't take any more people. But, you know, I would give a room to somebody that really deserves it. I would, you know. That's the kind of person I am. Whether it's male, female, whatever, don't care. Doesn't make a difference, you know what I mean? If there was somebody needing refuge in the world that was like being persecuted, I would give a room to them. You know, I would give them a settee, and I would help them. I would. You know, I don't care who they are, Muslims, doesn't matter colour of skin, you know. And I know all yous would be the same, you know what I mean? And I know quite a lot of people are like, because of the rhetoric right now of what's going on in the country, everybody's like, oh, you know, refugees, or, you know what I mean? There's a lot of sort of hatred, you know, because of what you're seeing, what's happening to all the children in England, and the way the government are behaving, you know. But I know if they were in front of you and you had a family in front of you, and you could see the the sorrow in their eyes, you know, of what they've been through, you would open your doors to them. I know you would, you know. And that's the way I think. I try not to think of illegal immigrants as this guy with a machine gun. I always try and remember that there is people that need our refuge, and we've got to keep human, guys. We've got to keep that. I plead to you. I know it's difficult. I know it's really difficult, right? Because of the government and the way the government are behaving with two-tier. But you've got to try and stay human. Try and stay compassionate, guys, you know. So with that said, so what's going to happen is this guy's going to come over, we're going to give him refuge, and he's going to stay here, we're never going to get rid of him. And then he's going to commit a crime, okay? And he's going to go to prison, then he's going to get out, and then he's going to get a house and a flat, you know. Because I think they're starting to work out now that when you go to prison, they can't release you unless they find you somewhere to stay, you know. So basically what's happening is they're getting stuck in these hotels, and they don't like these hotels. You see them complaining about the food, and, you know, can you imagine the hotels, when you've got a lot of bad people and you throw them all into one big hotel, they're not going to get on with each other. So you're going to get everywhere, you're going to get guys who are going to be getting abused, there's going to be bullying, you know. So these guys know that if they go out and commit a wee daft crime and get 6 months, when it comes to their release, the government, you can't get released from prison unless you've got somewhere to stay. It's part of, I'm not too sure because I've never done a short sentence, right? So I'll be honest, I'm speaking as a long-term prisoner, you know. And as far as I know, in my experience, you cannot get out of prison without an address, you know. And if you don't have an address, they get you somewhere, you know. Either a hostel, a bedsit, or a flat, you know what I mean? And it would be clear to me this would be the route I would take if I was them, you know. Because let's face it, you're going to be more secure in prison than these hotels. So these hotels probably don't have cameras or nothing. And if they do, they'll probably get covered up or broken, you know what I mean? Because these guys are criminals and they won't want their comings and goings recorded. So, but in prison, you can't just cover up cameras, you know what I mean? It doesn't work like that. So they'll have a fair amount of security and safety in prison, you know. It's warm, they get protected, food's good. Listen, I'm telling you now, a lot of people will say, I am one of them, where you complain about the food, because when you're in prison, you only think about McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and, you know, all you know, if you're into Indians and Chinese, you know, that's what you think about. But in reality, when you're out here, you know, unless you're a criminal and you're making money through illegal ways, then you're struggling. You're going to be just eating basic food like potatoes and rice and stuff like that, you know, with a wee bit of meat if you're lucky. And that's the truth of it. So with that in mind, prison food's quite good. You're getting all your vegetables, all your potatoes. You get chicken. You get Sunday dinner. You get steak. I've been in loads of jails where you get steak. Alright, it's not the thickest of steaks, it's very, very thin, but you still get steak. You get fish on a Friday, every jail you get fish on a Friday, you know, and you get a menu. Every single prison has a menu where it goes out every week or every month, and you tick what you want, you know. I'm not kidding you on, guys, this is the God's honest truth, you know. Anybody that's following me will, You know, because I could never bring you lies because people would call me out. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, it's jail isn't that bad. I promise you guys. Like for these guys who have been living in tents over winter in France, prison's a luxury. I promise you guys, prison's a luxury. And if you know you're going to get a flat at the end of it, happy days, you know. But so you know, I was sitting thinking this morning. So I was, and I'm thinking about the older people and that, and how they must feel right now with what's going on, and how horrible it must feel for them. They feel that, you know, all their life they've been told to work. Like I had a conversation with a guy a few days ago. And he was sort of having a wee go at me because I didn't work, you know. Doesn't know nothing about me. But, you know, wasn't having a go at me because he wouldn't have a go at me, but, you know, in a roundabout way. And I was saying to him, like, in a roundabout way as well. So you're telling me, like, you got to go to work, you know, and do all that, and pay your taxes and all the rest of it. So who says? Does it say it in the Bible? Is that what you're born with? Is that what you're born with all that? I've got to go to work. I've got to work every day. Because this is the way I look at it. I don't think any man should get up in the morning at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, kiss his wife and his family and his children goodbye, and go and spend that whole day with people he probably doesn't even get on with, and come home at 5, 6, depending how far away they work, because you're spending at least an hour to 2 hours travelling, especially along that M8 Glasgow to Edinburgh. You know, I have worked. I know what it's like. I'm a driver, you know what I mean? I've always drove vans all my life. And we were up and down that M8 every day. I used to get up, I used to start work at 7 every morning. Some nights I wouldn't come in till 8 at night, you know. I'm a hard worker, you know. And I would work. If I could get, I promise you, like, guys, if I could get a job where I know the guys understand who I am, and don't give me a hard time or try and bully me or try and take the piss out of me or anything like that. Because, like I say, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box. You know, I'll be the first to admit that. You know, I'm not good with coming back with people, and I get embarrassed. And, you know, and I've explained all that to you, you know what I mean? But, you know, I'd love to get up and go to work. I really would. I'd love to get up, you know, because this was the thing when I was working with my best mate, Pedro, and I loved it. You know, but it was the pressures of driving and people having to go at me and blasting horns and all the rest of it. You can imagine what it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, and I was letting my boss down because my boss was a really nice man for giving me a start. Morning. And I was letting him down. People were phoning and complaining. The police were phoning a couple of times, I think, you know. Because it's usual, people behind the wheel of their car can think they're fucking hard until I get out, you know what I mean? And it's a different story, you know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, like I say, I'm not a hard man, you know, but most of the times people that get on like that aren't hard either, you know. But no. I'm up every morning, as you know. I mean, 6:30, 7 o'clock's the latest, you know what I mean? And I'm quite fit and healthy, I'd like to think. You know, but I was saying to this guy, you know, who says this? Who says that you've got to do it? It's the government. So the government want you, this is what's happening, this is the truth, this is facts. The government want you to go to school and learn, because you don't even get a trade anymore, because we've lost all our trades, you know what I mean? They want you to work in a factory, you know what I mean? And get up, leave your family, spend all day away from your family. 5 days a week, fair enough. But the way the cost of living is, you're needing to do that extra day to try and make ends meet, just so you can get the pizzas in on a Saturday night for your family. That wee bit of luxury. So you do the Saturday, so that's 6 days you're away from your family. You come home at night time, you're exhausted. You might catch a wee bit of TV and maybe spend maybe an hour with your kids if they're still up. And then it's the same thing the next day. And they say you do this for your pension, so at the end of the day you can get your pension. But they've raised the pension age. And how many people make it to their pension age? Let's be honest, guys. You know, the way that they give people drugs, and the way the doctors and all that just give everybody drug after drug after drug. And it's killing people. And there's other things that the government have done, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not saying that, and this is my opinion, guys. Please never take anything I say as gospel or ever use or act in any way because of what I say. It's just my opinion, my thoughts, and how I feel and believe. I am not a medical expert. I have to make that clear for YouTube. Far from it. I haven't got a Scooby when it comes to stuff like that. But I'm just saying, I just think there's a lot of people around me taking an awful lot of medication, and it's just a tablet for another tablet for another tablet, and it's sad. And like, not many people are making it to retirement. There isn't, and even if you do make it to retirement age, you're going to have so many health problems because you've worked so hard all your life. And I just think, in a world like this, in a world like this, with so much beauty, so much. Like, I'm talking about the world. I'm not just talking about this beautiful country, Scotland. I'm talking about the world, I don't think that you're meant to be like that. I don't think you're meant to do that. That's not right. That's not what God intended. This is what the government intended. And it's just so you can pay them so they don't have to work. Because look at Stormer. Look at how much freebies he's got. He's taken the most freebies from every single politician. It's all there for facts. Just Google it. Google it, guys. Google the politician who's taken the most freebies. And Stormer has taken twice as much as the person in second place, And he's the one that's telling you to go out. And then you got the trade unions who you're also giving money to. And you can see they're telling people they're going to pay them to go to the Tommy, to go to the, what do you call it, the other side when they go against. You know what I'm talking about. It's early in the morning. Well, the ones that protest against Tommy, they're actually paying them to go. Now, they're actually admitting it. I've been saying this for ages. I've been saying this for a long time, guys, that that these guys are paid, to go and protest, against a man who's protesting against child abuse. This is your trade unions, guys. And I implore you, if you are in trade unionists, please, if any of your friends are trade unionists, please tell them to stop putting money in that organisation. Because they aren't for our country. They are for the illegal immigrants that are coming in, because that's what Tommy's fighting against. Just like me and just like you that are following me. And you've got to, please, guys, your GMBs, your TUCs, I don't even know half of them, but they're trade unions and they're fighting against the British people. So they are, you know what I mean? And like, I just think, I don't understand how nobody else can see this, you know what I mean? What actually is really going on in the world. And then we'll go back to this guy with a machine gun under his eye. So he will come here, right? He tried the other day and the French authorities thwarted it, right? But he will. He'll be here within the week, probably be here before the weekend, 100%. I've seen another video this morning where he was doing a scan of his tent and there was a gun under the pillow, And this is just one guy who's stupid enough to show us exactly what they're about. How many of them guys, and he's a stupid one, right? He is. He's just a stupid guy who's actually showing us who he truly is. And he's doing it for TikTok. You see the money? Because TikTok will pay you. So they will. For once you get so many followers and every video and all that. It's not great, but to them it's a bit of money, you know what I mean? And he doesn't realise what he's doing because he's blinded by the cash. You get me? But what about the ones that aren't blinded by cash? They're coming here just like him. Exactly the same, They mightn't have AK-47s under their eyes. But believe you me, they're no different. If they're not worse, And they're coming here and they're not getting kicked out. I mean, there's, I could bring you one thing after another. Another guy in Ireland there, you know what I mean? Got Irish citizenship, you know what I mean? And then he's getting done for all sorts, and then he gets bail, and then he gets done again. You know what I mean? It's so frustrating because the politicians, especially Sinn Féin, are wanting these people to come into the country. Why do they not care? Like, we know Starmer doesn't care about the British people. We know that. We understand that these people up high don't care about us because they have houses in other countries. They have summer houses in America and Barbados and all over the place. They're multi-millionaires. Sunak is a multi-millionaire. You know what I mean? His missus like skimmed the life out of our country, so she did, by avoiding taxes. Um, these people are blatantly taking the piss out of our country. These leaders are blatantly and they got in by default. I'm going to push to get them out. I am working on something right now, and I know you're thinking just wee me, but wee me has got quite a lot of followers that have got big following. I've got people around me now that, because I always ask people like Paz did give me a shout out, but I don't. I have so much respect for him, but as you know, I prefer not to, because nobody would listen to me. I would do our cause more damage than good because of who I am. I think he's going to understand that. So I'd rather be where I am than being viral and massive and causing problems for like Sir Tommy or anything like that. That's why I never message him, or I never would want him to direct message me, or I always worry about the big influencers like saying anything, because I don't want to bring them any harm, because the left would have a field day, and it's more important to me. My country is more important to me than bloody followers. I'm sorry, no offense, guys, but I love you guys, but my country's more important to me than anything like that. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, but we will get there, and we are going to find a way of getting another election to get Starmer out. The polls are showing that he's got no support at all. Yous all know, everybody around yous absolutely detest the man, and every single person that's around him. Rayner, that other. How do we have a guy, Lammy, and he has a passport in another country? That doesn't make any sense. He's a foreign minister of this country. Surely we should have a foreign minister who is 110% British and British only. Anybody that's got a passport or it claims to belong to another country is not. It's dangerous, and I'm going to say it. It is dangerous. Surely it is dangerous. Surely his heart is if half of his heart's in another country, then that's not good enough for me. I want somebody that's full-heartedly dedicated to this country and this country only. I'm sorry, but if you're a foreign minister, you need to be. Your whole heart and soul has to be for this country, or you just can't do the job properly. You're always going to be misled or swayed by something else that's going on in your mind that's got nothing to do with this country. And I'm not the brightest, but I can see that, guys. But I feel sorry for the. Come here, boy. I feel sorry for that. No, wee dog, come on, stay, son. Stay, son. Got my gloves on. Really hard to get this thing in when I've got my gloves on. 2 seconds. Thanks. Okay. Cheers, buddy. Right, come on, you, mister. Yeah. I feel my heart goes out to the old people that are really, really angry and confused about what's going on in this world. It's heartbreaking. They must be so lost. I've seen an old age pensioner being slapped in the face by I don't know, he was a black guy, but I don't know if he was illegal or what. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what country it was now, but it wasn't nice to watch. And they've got no respect. This is why I keep going on about the Kurds. And it's nothing against foreigners. It really isn't. But our old should be looked after by our own people. A Scottish old person should be looked after by a Scottish person. And like I keep saying, people say they're here to do the jobs that we don't want. Well, pay them money. Pay them money for these bad jobs that these people deserve to get. And then people would want to do the jobs. You can't give people minimum wage for cleaning up people's poos and peas and nappies and all the rest of it that goes along with people that are really not well and old. This continent. These are the hardest jobs in our communities, and they're getting paid the lowest wage, and they wonder why nobody wants to do the jobs, and then they bring the foreigners in and they'll do it. But they, come on, I've experienced it. They don't care. They pretend to care to the right people, but they don't care. I've seen evidence after evidence, guys, and it breaks my heart. It really does break my heart. There's so many crimes getting done to the civilians of this country, and the Labour government and the Tories were 100% implicit. And I really do think that they should be held accountable. It's not fair that they can do with whatever. If I was to do to this country what some of these leaders have done to our country, I would be called a traitor and be treated as such, you know? You know what I mean? Oh, it's so frustrating. And it's so frustrating for other people, immigrants that are here, that have came here legally, and they've just become our community. And then they're watching these other immigrants coming in, and it's like, because a lot of people aren't as intelligent, and they just tar and feather out. They don't see the difference, you know. You know, some people like are starting to look at people from Russia, Poland, Ukraine, and all the rest of it, and seeing them as bad now because of the way the government are behaving, and they're not letting people understand what's going on. You know, people can't see the difference between the illegal Muslim immigrants that are coming over compared to the legal Muslim immigrants that are here, you know. And I know some of the legal, like as you know, it's down in England with the Pakistani grooming gangs. You know, quite a lot of them are legal immigrants. I'm sure our government brought them into this country because there was a deal done. Whenever Chris MacDonald was tortured and burnt alive in a park in Glasgow by 4 Pakistani men, they escaped to Pakistan. One particular guy called Baldy, who's now getting out. It's unbelievable. This is a horrific story. It really is. Like, if you follow Tommy Robinson, you probably know about it. I know about it because I was in jail with these characters. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I wasn't. There was one of them was in the same wing as me, and I was waiting for the Scottish boys to deal with it, you know what I mean? Because like he wouldn't have lasted an hour in our jails, but I don't know what happened. But by the time they got round to doing everything, everybody in Ireland knew what was happening, and they whipped the guy back out. That guy Baldy, he got done in Kilmarnock jail, so he did. And yeah, but he's still walking about. So they never done that good a job. Anyway, Baldy's getting out, so he is. And I feel for the family, I really do, because this was a young 15-year-old that was taken in a car, drove 200 miles, beaten, stabbed, tortured in the car, brought back another 200 miles, taken to a park in Glasgow and set on fire while he was alive. You know? And it only feels like yesterday, you know? This is the strange thing, and now the guys are getting out. You know what I mean? But anyway, these characters escaped to Pakistan, and the Pakistani government weren't going to let the British government get them back. And there was a deal done that we had to accept immigrants from that country to bring these guys back for justice, you know. And I know for a fact that the immigrants that they did bring over committed horrendous crimes as well as what Baldy and that did. You know, so there's story after story after story after story about illegal immigrants, legal immigrants coming to this country and committing horrendous crimes. Factual, it's all documented. Just look up Chris MacDonald, K-R-I-S MacDonald. Just Google that name and it's all there for you guys. The stuff about the deal that was done, I'm not too sure if you'll find that because I got that from a first-hand source that's close to the family of what happened, you know what I mean? How they got the guys back from Pakistan. Because I don't think Pakistan, I didn't think they had a deportation treaty in place. I'm not sure 100% why there had to be a deal, but obviously they had to get brought back because the crime was that horrendous. But there was a deal done, you know. Yeah, so I understand a lot of people must be so frustrated, especially people that know what I know, and you must be pulling your hair out. Why is our government doing this to us, guys? Why are they destroying our country? You know, I've seen another video this morning of Pakistani men on the streets of Britain, like thousands of them, going on about Pakistan. Why are they here? Why, if you love your country so much and you are all waving your Pakistani flags, why not go back to Pakistan? It's your country. It's where you're born and bred. You know, I would never leave Britain because it's my country. I love my country, but my country's changing. So obviously I am thinking about it. But obviously I probably would never leave my country, you know. But it doesn't make any sense that these guys come over here and then bring their culture with them and demand that they're allowed to celebrate everything that they celebrate in Pakistan. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why come here if you're like that? It doesn't make any sense at all, you know. Like I say, our churches are getting turned into mosques, you know. You've got over 30 mosques in some cities. You know, in the last 10, 15 years, when there was only one, then 15 years there's now 30. And if you do the math, what's it going to be like in another 10, 15, 20 years? You know, it's and if we're having like 700 to 1,000 people coming in a day, Muslim men coming in a day, you know, they're all going to have children. They're all going to have children, so you can multiply everything. 20 years' time, them children will be 20. They'll be having children. We're not having children. You know, Elon Musk said it's replacement by birth, you know, and he's right. He's right, guys. And it's really sad that we can see this, but none of our government care. They don't care that we're losing our churches. They don't care if we've got no-go areas where girls or men that want to celebrate St. George or their patriotism can't walk for fear of getting beat to death. I know some horrific stories that's happened to some men, you know. There's a guy got murdered in front of his child many years ago, and it's just horrible, horrible stories. And it's one thing after another. Never before, I remember back in the day when there used to be no Irish and no dogs in pubs, you know. And the Irish had never really done, you know, I understand with the IRA and all that, right, and there was a bit of hingy. But this is the worst we've ever seen. And still there's no stopping. And we can't, when they're here, they can't get put out. We can't send them anywhere. They're here for good, no matter what they do. No matter what heinous crimes they commit, they're kept here. They go to prison, and then they come out, and we can't deport them. Because we have people like Hope Not Hate and Nick Lowes campaigning and fundraising to buy them lawyers. You know, my heart breaks for this country, guys. You know, it really does. You got your SNP and your Sinn Féin and your Labour government all wanting them because, you know, guys, the SNP hate the Union, right? They hate Britain, right? Sinn Féin hate Britain, right? We that's fact. We know that, right? So, obviously, we now know Starmer hates Britain for some reason. He's one of them ones that doesn't like to be white. He hates white. You know, I promise you, this is what it feels like, my opinion. Entertainment and educational purposes only. But that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? Because he's doing the same as Sinn Féin and SNP. Bring as many refugees as you can. Destroy the culture. Take away the patriotism. You know. We've got, I don't know, I think it's over 10 Sharia courts now. And why have we got Sharia courts in Britain? What is going on, guys? Google it. How many Sharia courts are in England? Google it, guys. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Everything I bring to you is facts. I promise you. I don't just blather stuff. I have opinions. I'll tell you when it's an opinion. When it's a fact, I'll say that's a fact. Google it. You know, guys. I feel like I'm going on and on about the same thing all the time now. But, you know, it was just that guy with the Kalashnikov under his eye and the videos that he's doing. And I just can't get my head around the fact. And then I hear that they're putting the Navy in the channel. And everybody thinks, oh, yay, they're doing something. No, they're not. They're making sure nobody dies. They're there to pick them up and bring them back safely because the Coast Guard can't cope with the numbers that are coming in. And they'll tell you, whatever they're telling you, they're lying, you know. What are they going to do? Sink the ships, tow them back? Of course they're not. Because they'll just come back and they'll just keep doing that. And even if they were to do that, they'll just find a different way, in through lorries, in through vans, in through Ireland, whatever, you know, in through Scotland. They will get here, you know what I mean? No matter what. There's no stopping them, like. But, yeah, pretty sad state of affairs. And things are going to get worse and worse and worse, guys. And the only way we can start deporting these people is by getting rid of Labour. I don't know, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. But we have Reform and we have UKIP. Now, I'm not too keen on Reform. I don't know much about UKIP, but I'm not too keen on Reform because of Nigel Farage. If they get rid of Nigel Farage, it's a different story. Because Nigel Farage is not is not work. He once, if he gets in the power, you guarantee he will not deport them. He works for the establishment. Whatever Starmer and the Tories say or do, he will be doing that as well. Yeah, whoever's in charge of the world or whatever's going on, he's part of that. He'll do whatever. You've seen how he behaved with Tommy Robinson whenever he turned around. He was the only one of the only main ones that turned around and said, after that fake news came out about that young guy that killed them 3 children, and there was a fake clip put out about him being he was on the watch list, and Farage came out and goes, I want to know if he's on the watch list, that's all. And it was all fake. So whenever he got called out for that, and everybody started giving him a hard time, and he got to tell you, it showed you the strength of him. He came on TV and blamed Tommy. Tommy was one of the only ones that never opened his mouth about nothing. He just sat there quiet, because he's too wise. He's seen all this happen before. You know, we do not talk about anything unless it's been through mainstream media or a mainstream internet news channel. You know, so we're aware, we're not stupid. There's so many fake and AI and bots and all the rest of it. But Nigel Farage went on the TV and blamed Tommy when he never even said anything, because he thought, who do they all hate more than me? Tommy. You know, what a horrible, horrible human being that man is, guys. And for that reason, I will never support that man, because he's not one of us. That he proved it that day with Tommy Robinson. He proved that to us all then. Hopefully we can get rid of him and get somebody that represents the working class in power, and then we can all get behind reform. At the minute, the vote's getting split. We're not going to get anywhere right now because we've got UKIP and reform. And there's another one, housing some, I can't mind it, you know. Even more division, you know what I mean? Even more division. We do not need division at a time like this, guys. We need one party for all, and we need to get behind that party, and they need to have deportation on their agenda. Simple as that. It's the only way forward, because people are sick of the rape of children in this country. They're sick of immigrants getting away with blue murder because they're immigrants. We're sick of the diversity hires because of the colour of somebody's skin. I've never seen racism so much in my life in this world against white people. Honestly, it is unbelievable. You take Star Wars, for instance. There's not hardly I don't think, is there any white people in Star Wars now? You know, Snow White. They want Snow White, a black Snow White. You know, they don't even have dwarfs anymore. They won't even use dwarfs. Everything's gone crazy. Everything's gone absolutely crazy, guys. And I know you are all feeling it as well. But, you know, give me some feedback on the Reform UKIP thing. What's the way forward? How do we do this without splitting the vote? Because the stance that he's took with Tommy Robinson has turned a lot of patriots against him. And that's a big problem, you know. We don't need a leader like that, because he's not a leader. You know, a leader would never do that to a young man from Luton, you know. The only people saying that Tommy Robinson is racist is Hope Not Hate in the establishment. So why does Farage get on like that? Obviously he's one of them. And a lot of people will wake up to that slowly but surely. I'm quite sure he's going to show himself even more, you know. He pretends to be, you know, I'm not going to go on and on about it, but guys, you know, what have I got? Oh my God. Jeez, oh, sorry about this, guys. But yeah, we've got problems. We have big problems, guys. And this keeps me focused, you know what I mean? And we've got to get rid of Labour. We've got to get our own guys in there. We've got to start deportating these extremists and criminals that are coming into the country. I think it's too late. I think the damage is already done. I don't even know where to start. But God help us all, guys. That's all I can say. And I'm not scaremongering. I'm not exaggerating. I genuinely, with my heart, say God help us all in this country. God help England, you know. I imagine Scotland will be going independent now. And I imagine Northern Ireland will be thinking about some sort of independence as well, to try and break away from England because of the damage that the government are doing, and already done to England. When you look at Oldham, Bradford, Rochdale, Rotherham, these places are becoming no-go areas now, you know. I speak to people there who are horrified of what's going on. People are moving in their droves to protect themselves, and they're being intimidated because these Muslims are wanting their houses, they're wanting their families moving next to them. So I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen Sikhs getting intimidated, getting their windows put in, so they move out of the area, you know. And it happened in Northern Ireland with the Catholics, exact same thing. And it happened with the Protestants. But it was, be honest, it was more, the Catholics did suffer a lot more than the Protestants. You know, there's no two ways about it. Back in the 70s, you know. And it's unforgivable what happened, you know, unforgivable. But it's happening in England exactly the same. Only it's a different religions now, you know, and it's not just Protestants and Catholics, it's Protestants and Catholics, you know what I mean. It's not what I'm trying to say. It isn't, there's no difference between the two now, guys. It is, you know, Protestants and Catholics are Christians in the eyes of everybody else but us for some reason. But I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to show people that, and I am winning. I am getting there, guys, more every day. I've got people talking to me. You know, I had a shitty comment yesterday from a guy talking about loyalism and, you know, saying that we were targeting Catholics. Yeah, Johnny Adair's lot were targeting innocent Catholics. I was there. I seen it with my own eyes. I was in prison with some of these guys. I know exactly what was going on, and it was really, really bad. And I was nothing to do with that, you know. The papers will say some things, but if you're going to listen to the papers, you know what I mean, especially about my friend, Cookie, you know, they slaughtered him in the paper, but you expect no less, you know what I mean. But I know everything that happened. I know who's responsible for everything in Northern Ireland on my side. I know everything about loyalism and the paramilitaries and who killed who and all the rest of it. I lived and breathed it, you know, and I know for a fact my friend Cookie is only responsible for killing IRA men, and that's it. You know, he never killed any innocent Catholics. And you got to understand as well, and I hate having to say this, but there is incidents in Northern Ireland, because if your family member is a part of an organisation as murders, you don't get any compensation. So it's very important that everybody comes out and says that he was just an innocent Catholic for the family they get compensation. People don't understand that, you know. But I don't understand why people from different countries keep getting involved in my country and arguing with me about things, because I'm not biased. You may think that. I am not biased. I tell you the truth as I see it. Yes, there was loyalists in Northern Ireland that killed Catholics for being Catholics, like the Shankill butchers and all the rest of it. I understand, I know that, yeah. But I can only talk about people around me who I know personally. And I would never get behind anybody that targeted Catholics for just being a Catholic. You've got to understand that. I wouldn't, and I never would, you know. I was never like that, you know what I mean. Like I say, I was brainwashed at a very early age, and it was a small part of my life when I did think like that. But then I grew up. I went to England. I'd done 6 years in England, and I met Muslims and Catholics and all the rest of it. The first Catholic I ever met, well, I was 18 years old, you know. So, and that's the truth of it, guys. If you segregate a community and have Protestant schools and Catholic schools and Protestant areas and Catholic areas, if you segregate them young children, they are going to grow up to hate each other. There's no two ways about it. You can't blame the children for being like that. It's the government's fault. People, it's the government's fault for breeding hatred, for segregating communities. You know, there should be an end to all segregation. You know what I mean? But you can see what's happening in England, exactly the same as Ireland. You've got segregated areas where dominantly Muslims, all Muslim areas, and extremism is rising in them areas, just like it did in Northern Ireland with the IRA and UVF and UDA. They were all, every one of them, extremism was rising in the communities because there were no-go areas, just like England, where you've seen my videos where the police are getting chased out of these areas, and we know what's getting preached in some of these mosques. And there should be investigations in some of these imams. I'm seeing video after video after video of Islamic preachers calling for the ending of us infidels, for want of a better word. I'm going to leave it like that, guys. God bless you. So have a really good Tuesday. I might bring in a wee video later on, and just to say hello. It won't be a long one. Who's doing this? I'll wait till I guess at this side. I won't be a long one, but I'll give you a wee shout later. Thanks very much for getting the end of this long video, guys. Sorry it's a wee bit rambly and all over the place, but I'm just trying to vent. It makes me feel better. And I know that some of you will be feeling like I'm feeling, and you probably need to hear this. So God bless you all. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all soon.